ManCavians, happy 4th of July. It has been a wild and crazy month of June here. I've had birthday parties, I've had family coming in, I've had Greg from Fishplate Film stop by for 2-3 days, and we had a lot of fun rail fanning out here in the Omaha and North Platte area. I've had appliances die and had to be replaced, an air conditioning needed to be repaired, a refrigerator died, a disposal died, a dishwasher's on its last legs. It just never ends. You have all those things that happen during the summer. You just got to do them. So railroading kind of got put on the back burner. I did try a few things in my next stage, which was going to be building the deck where the track lays, and I had a couple concepts that I'm going to show you how they worked out. I thought they were going to work out. Brilliant idea if I had the right tools or enough practice doing it. I probably could have figured it out at some point, but it was going to take too long to do that. So I'm going to show you what happened, and let's go take a look. Okay, what I started off thinking I could do is making a single stringer out of some basswood. And I picked some basswood up that I thought was the right size and thickness to make the stringers with. And I didn't go to scale at all with this one, but I wanted to bend it and make it a solid piece that would go on this form. As you can see, it doesn't quite match my curvature. A portion of it did, but it needs to be a lot tighter and more bend in it. It was very difficult to get it to this point, and what I used was a steam box. I made a homemade steam tube out of some, standard PVC drain pipe that you can get. Put an end cap on one end of it. I drilled holes through the side and punched a dowel through it to raise whatever I put on the inside up off the bottom. And as you can see, it's pretty much like that. I got sticks all the way down for depending on how long you want to put your wood in there that you need to bend. And steaming it, what I did on the end cap, I have another cap on here which I can't misplace at the moment, but in there was a hole that I could fit the tube for a Wagner steamer into the end of it. And the steamer I used was for steaming off wallpaper. And that worked out just great. Well, instead of using this, I went to trying the laminated way using the scale wood. And I was going to use Lex Parker's method of putting 3 pieces together with spacers in between. And I tried the spacers. As you can kind of see, the markings of where the spacers were, I knocked them all off because I wasn't going to do that anymore because it was just too flimsy. Couldn't get enough glue on it. They're so small that end scale, to do that, it's a real pain, and I didn't feel it was going to be strong enough, and I could actually pop the pieces apart, and it didn't stay in the radius that I wanted. And so, I got it close. This way I took those spacers out and I decided I'm just going to laminate the 2 pieces together and try and keep them in a curve. And I have a form that I used to kind of keep it into the radius that I wanted, and it got close, but it didn't stay completely where I wanted it to. Now, it's flexible enough I probably could have used it this way, but it just did not come out flat. The two pieces, you know, they don't stay together if you don't clamp them right. I mean, they're so small that they like to shift back and forth. So I decided I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it the way Lex Parker actually was doing it, and that's with making individual pieces like these and then beveling one side to get your curvature. And an example is like this. Take another flat side, put it up against that beveled edge, and keep on going. I'll just follow that along my track plan when I glue it all down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this track plan, put it on some foam, and use push pins as guides basically to keep the template pieces in place. I'm also going to put a spacer in between each one of these sections when I glue the other sides down, and that'll keep it aligned properly. One trick that you need to do is make sure you have whatever radius you are making, make your calculations correct. There are some online resources for calculating your widths of each piece, which will also tell you the beveled end angle that you need to cut. On these, I chose to only cut one side. One side is 90 degrees, the other side is at a 5.5, 6 degree angle. The way I did that was because if I angle both sides like this, it's really hard to get to a 3 degree angle on each side to make a total of 6 degree angle that you need to bend your next piece against. So it's actually easier just to keep it flat, cut the full angle that you need, and then just butt up the flat side against the angled side for the next piece. Also, you have to keep in mind that your outside diameter radius is going to be a little bit longer in pieces than your inside radius. Now, if you look at a pie, this side down here is going to be wider than this side down here. So you got to keep your pie correct. And so these lines are going to go straight down this way, and if you have the same size, things are not going to line up, especially when you put your bents in right here on the seams of each one of these pieces. So what I did is I marked the outside pieces with a line on the end, and the inside pieces don't have a line on the end. So after I'm done placing all my pieces where I need them to fit my template, I'm going to stain these, glue them together, and hopefully everything's going to work out just right. I used a chopper to cut my angle pieces. That's a little bit more difficult, but you can do it. You don't have to bevel it too much. You could actually probably just sand off your one edge. These are typically right at 2 inches on the short end, and maybe probably on the the outside ones are like 2 1/32 of an inch. The inside ones are right at 2 inches. So as you can see, that needs to be a little bit smaller, and so everything lines up. What I used was the same width of basswood that laminated stringer pieces would have looked like if they were together. since these are pretty much going to be covered up by other railing and beams going across them to hold it all together, no one's going to see it, and I'm not really going to care that much. It's all about illusion when you're making models, and this is what it's going to kind of end up being. In this area here, I've got a river that's going to be coming out, or a stream that's going to be bridged across, so there's not going to be any bends in this area. So what I'm going to do is I took and cut some pieces, actually not these here, and they're going to be on the outside. They're going to be a little bit wider than the other bends here because I need to have it a little bit more on a curve. I got to have it straightened out. So it'll be sort of like that, sort of the bridge in the gap, and that way it'll ride across it. And I have those boards going all the way across. Will make it look pretty much seamless. But I didn't want to have a lot of bracing that was not wide enough at that point. I'll create a little box that goes underneath here to support this whole section going across, sort of like a deck girder bridge kind of a look. But here's a close-up of what I'm doing right here. I have these inside pieces to go right in there. They'll roughly be lined up so that they're centered across the black line, which is actually the rail of the track above, just like in the prototype. And then roughly a 3/32 inch piece of little strip wood, so like a popsicle stick kind of width. And I'll stuff those in the middle there, clamp them together, glue braces going across in each section, and get each pieces glued together. Next step, do some staining of some more pieces of wood here and start gluing it together. Well, there you go, ManCavians. That's where I'm at so far, and we'll see you on part 6 when I start showing you how this all glues together.